GM. It is Monday, the 16th of December, 2024. Welcome to Altcoin Season Update. The crypto world is buzzing today, and we've got tons to cover. We've got Bitcoin hitting new highs, there's whispers of combined Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, and we've got some wild swings happening in the world of MemeCoins and AI-driven tokens. So we're going to unpack all of these developments and explore what they mean for you, whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just starting out.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how President Trump's vision for Bitcoin is playing out. His confirmation about creating a U.S. Bitcoin strategic reserve really shook things up.
Yeah, it did. It feels like the start of a new chapter in global finance. So could this lead to every other country needing to create their own reserve too?
It's certainly a possibility. Think about it. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for decades. But now with Bitcoin gaining traction and this talk of a strategic reserve, we're witnessing a potential paradigm shift. The U.S. making this move sends a strong signal that Bitcoin is a legitimate asset, worthy of holding on a national scale.
I see what you mean. It's almost like a seal of approval.
Yeah.
If you're a nation state and you see the U.S. doing this, you almost have to at least explore the possibility of doing the same, just to stay competitive.
Precisely. Of course, there would be challenges. We'd need greater global regulatory clarity, increased infrastructure for buying, storing, and managing Bitcoin, and perhaps even a reassessment of the role of traditional reserve currencies.
That's a lot to unpack, but the implications are massive. And it's not just speculation driving this surge. MicroStrategy, the company famous for its Bitcoin treasury, they just added another 15,350 Bitcoins to their stash last week.
Absolutely. Actions speak louder than words. And speaking of institutional interest, there's another development that could attract even more traditional investors, a combined Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. NASDAQ just filed for one. It could be a game changer.
Wow. So this ETF would be managed by Hashdex, and it's being structured to allocate roughly 70% to Bitcoin and 30% to Ethereum. So what would this mean for everyday investors?
Well, it would provide diversified exposure to the two leading cryptocurrencies, which could be a huge appeal for many investors, especially those who are a little hesitant about investing in individual coins.
Makes sense. It's like having the best of both worlds, kind of like how broad commodity ETFs attract a wider audience by spreading risk.
Exactly. This combined ETF could do the same for crypto, potentially stabilizing returns and bringing in more cautious investors.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. What do you think the market impacts would be?
Well, we could see increased demand for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, which would likely drive their prices up even further. There's also the potential for enhanced liquidity in both markets and a possible boost for the DeFi ecosystem.
DeFi. For those who might not be familiar, what exactly does that mean?
DeFi stands for decentralized finance. It's essentially recreating traditional financial services like lending, borrowing, and trading, but on a decentralized blockchain. It cuts out the middlemen like banks and other financial institutions, giving individuals more control over their assets.
So instead of going to a bank for a loan, you could borrow from a decentralized lending platform that uses smart contracts to automate the process.
Exactly. And instead of relying on a centralized exchange to trade your crypto, you can use a decentralized exchange that operates on a blockchain, offering greater transparency and security.
So this combined ETF really could be a major catalyst for growth and innovation within DeFi. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that could be a huge boon for altcoins. Pro-crypto regulation. There's a lot of talk about this in Washington these days.
Yeah, and it's a crucial aspect of the crypto conversation. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty around how cryptocurrencies will be regulated. And that uncertainty can make institutional investors hesitant to enter the market.
I can see why. They need to know the rules of the game, right?
Exactly. They don't want to invest millions only to have the rug pulled from under them by unexpected regulations. So the push for clear and well-defined regulations is really about building trust and stability.
So this push for regulation could open the floodgates for institutional money to flow into altcoins.
Potentially, yes. If institutional investors feel confident about the regulatory landscape, they're more likely to diversify their crypto holdings beyond just Bitcoin. We could see pension funds, hedge funds, and even traditional banks dipping their toes into the altcoin pool.
Yeah. Now, for our listeners who might be new to the crypto world, can you explain what we mean by altcoins and why they matter?
Sure. In the simplest terms, altcoin stands for alternative coin. It's any cryptocurrency that is not Bitcoin. Think of Bitcoin as the original cryptocurrency, the one that started it all. Altcoins came later, building on Bitcoin's technology, or exploring new approaches to blockchain and decentralized systems.
So Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, these are all examples of altcoins. What makes them so important?
Altcoins represent the vast potential of blockchain technology to disrupt various industries and solve real-world problems. Bitcoin proved that decentralized, secure, and transparent transactions were possible. Altcoins are taking that foundation and expanding it in countless directions.
So it's not just about making money, although that's certainly part of the appeal for many investors. It's about the potential for altcoins to reshape how we interact with technology finance and even society as a whole.
That's a great way to put it. Now, it's important to remember that the world of altcoins is vast and varied. There are thousands of altcoins out there, each with its own unique features, goals, and risks.
Right. It's crucial to do your research before investing in any altcoin. Don't just jump on the hype train. Understand the project, the team behind it, and the problem it's trying to solve. Now let's talk about some specific altcoins that are making headlines today, starting with MemeCoins.
All right. The world of MemeCoins is definitely a roller coaster. We have Mog Coin, or Mog, hitting a new all-time high. Its market cap just zoomed past $1 billion, with a 31% surge in just one day.
That's incredible. What's driving that kind of growth?
While MemeCoins are often driven by online communities and social media hype.
So it's more about sentiment than underlying value.
Often, yes. That's why it's important to be cautious with MemeCoin investments.
Good advice. Now on to another meme coin favorite, Dogecoin. It's inching closer to the dollar mark, and some analysts are predicting it could reach that milestone by the end of the year.
It'll be interesting to see if those predictions hold true. Remember, MemeCoin investments are driven by sentiment and online communities. It's a highly speculative game.
All right, let's move on to a sector that's been on fire lately. AI tokens. The AI-driven crypto market is experiencing explosive growth. One example is Virtual, the native token of Virtual's protocol, which hit an all-time high of $2.96 today. That's a gain of over 14,500% since July.
What's fascinating here is that Virtual's protocol is known for developing autonomous AI influencers. One of their creations, Luna AI, is a female anime character who already has over 540,000 followers on TikTok.
That's wild. It's like the convergence of entertainment, AI, and crypto. We're also seeing Fetch.ai or FET making waves. It surged 15% recently.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how the strong performance of AI-related companies like NVIDIA seems to be spilling over into the crypto space. It indicates growing investor confidence in the convergence of AI and blockchain. It's definitely a space to watch closely.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from Bitcoin's record-breaking surge to the potential of a combined Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. From the roller coaster of meme coins to the excitement around AI tokens, it's clear that the crypto world is constantly evolving.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time to be involved, for sure.
It's amazing to see how altcoins are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And as the technology continues to evolve and regulations become clearer, we can expect even more innovation and disruption in the years to come. Speaking of disruption, let's take a closer look at the potential impact of the U.S. potentially establishing a Bitcoin reserve. It's a really bold move.
It would be a historic decision, no doubt. As we discussed, if the U.S. creates a strategic Bitcoin reserve, it could create a domino effect, putting pressure on other countries to do the same. Imagine the impact on global demand and potentially the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think about. But it's not just about the price. A strategic Bitcoin reserve could have significant geopolitical implications as well.
Absolutely. The U.S. dollar has been the dominant global reserve currency for a long time. But this move could signal a shift in the global financial landscape. Other nations, especially those looking to challenge the dollar's dominance, might feel compelled to diversify their reserves and include Bitcoin.
It's almost like a financial arms race. Countries scrambling to secure their position in a new world order where Bitcoin plays a pivotal role. What do you think the long-term implications would be?
Well, in the long run, we could see a multipolar world with various reserve currencies, including Bitcoin. It could lead to greater financial independence for nations and potentially reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar.
Fascinating. But as you mentioned earlier, there are significant hurdles to overcome. Implementing a U.S. Bitcoin reserve isn't a walk in the park. We're talking about lack of infrastructure, potential budget battles, and the need for a regulatory overhaul.
Exactly. There are logistical and political challenges to address before this can become a reality.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the altcoin season, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed. The crypto world is constantly evolving, so keep learning and stay updated on the latest developments. We've talked about a lot of exciting trends today, from the potential of a U.S. Bitcoin reserve to the rise of AI tokens.
Right. And with the possibility of pro-crypto regulations on the horizon, the altcoin space can see a surge of growth and innovation.
Absolutely. But remember, with great potential comes great risk. Do your research, be cautious of scams, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Excellent advice. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of altcoins. Be sure to subscribe for more in-depth analysis and discussions on the ever-evolving crypto market. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.